Hello and welcome to Let's Play EVE Online. I'll be your host, Load Object, and we're going to be going over tanking today. To start off with, let's start with armor tanking. You have an active armor tank, or you have a life tank for armor tanking. To start with, we have an active armor tank. It requires a repair. We're doing a cruiser, so it would be a medium repair. Some adaptive, nano membranes. Those are passive. Again, this is damage control. It gives you some resistances to the hull armor and a little to shields. And then you have a reactive armor hardener, which is one of the newer modules that CCP has added to EVE. And it does specialized hardening depending on the damage type you're taking. So again, you have an active hardener, some resistances, and you can add HP, but normally for an active tank you're trying to prevent as much damage as you can and repair the rest of it. So you don't have to add extra weight for armor plates or extra signature radius for shielding. So again, you have your guns, you have your propulsion, you have some cap recharge. Overall, I believe all of these, when not firing, you have a minute. It's not that great of repair. More or less, you should look at better cap efficient settings. This is just to show the tanking abilities. So if you look at it, I have some EM, I have some thermal, I have some kinetic, I have low explosive. Now, armor normally has high EM, medium thermal, medium kinetic, and explosive. Now this is completely determinant on the race of ship because they change per race. But normally armor has decent resistances across the board, whereas shields normally have nothing for EM unless it's like, say, a faction or a special Tech 2 ship. And you go farther along for kinetic, then you have, explosive, then you have kinetic, then you have thermal. So again, this would be an active setup for armor tanking. Let's go ahead and browse. Thorax. Life tank. Fit. Let's go ahead and try this again. There we go. Now it worked. Alright, so this guy is what you would call a life tank. Now you're basically trying to have the most maximum life you can for a short period engagement. So basically you're trying to maximize your life, whereas if you had, say, a plate, you would have more life than 2 repair cycles on a medium armor repair. So overall you're trying to get your effective HP up. So defense, effective HP right here. So you're trying to get that higher than, say, this guy. Oh, actually, sorry. See, this guy's effective HP is 8,000. So if we take the life tank, okay, again, fit. Take the life tank, your effective HP rises to almost double, a little more than double. So again, this one would be a more efficient setup if you're going to, say, try to fight a high DPS short period engagement. Now again, pretty reasonable setups. They're not anything special. It's just to show the power grid and CPU usage. So again, passive, tanking, you're not really actively doing anything other than sitting there and taking damage and trying to kill them. Now, let's go ahead and actually let's bring out the Caracal to show, shield tanking. Okay, so we have an active tank for this Caracal. The active tank is, again, using repair and having hardeners normally, and you're trying to manage your cap usage. 5 minutes for it can be continuous run. Pretty safe bet that that's a really well set up Caracal. Now these are for the passive setup. They're not actually used for the active setup. But again, there you go. You have your active rep, you have your hardener, and then you have your cap recharge for the boosting. Okay, browse. Let's go ahead and do passive tank fit. Okay. Now, you have your launchers again, you have a large shield extender, a hardener, some shield rechargers, and mediums and lows, then you have some shield recharging rings. The idea of a passive tank for shields is to get your overall total hit points as high as you can while getting your overall shield recharge time as low as you can. So therefore it's passive recharge. Shields always have a passive recharge. You're maximizing that and furthering your HP regen naturally, as opposed to requiring cap to recharge it. It's better used, say, in a Drake or certain other types of ships. You can pretty much passive shield tank a lot of ships, just depending on how you design them. So anyways, let's go ahead and go to speed tanking. Items. Speed tanks are based upon the idea that you'll go faster than the guns or the lasers, projectiles, the hybrid guns can turn. So if you outturn them, they miss you. Also, for speed, you get a benefit of explosion velocity reductions. So if the missile explodes slower than you go, you take less damage. So again, you take less damage for going fast against missiles and against guns. So it's overall a preventive measure than a mitigation or repair measure. Also, if you can outrun drones, drones don't hit you either. So it's another added bonus to everything. One thing is that most speed tanks are pretty thin, so if you do tackle them and or get a shot off on them, they pretty much pop pretty quickly. So I mean, you can see that this the HP is effective HP 2000 HP. You're not really that thick. So anyways, that's armor, shields, and speed tanking. Now a note for armor. Let's bring this guy out. So I didn't want to minimize that. Armor has an overall better resistance and repair capacitor equivalency. You get more for your capacitor when repairing an armor. You also get more for your resistances in life, but it does make you slower. Overall, armor does lend to more life or a more efficient repair system. Now, for shields, now again, there's certain modules that make this not true, like say faction or officer modules that say make you repair a whole lot faster in shields than you ever would with an armor rep Tech 2 or whatever. Again, this is on a level playing field. You most likely will repair more efficiently with armor and have more life with armor. Now, with shields, you most likely will have more resistances, so you have more mitigation. But you do have a price for this. Your repair costs more capacitor than say armor does. So therefore, your life is directly proportionate to if you have enough capacitor to run your hardeners if they're active, or if they're passive, that's fine. You don't have to worry about it. But again, your life is directly proportionate to how much capacitor you have, and recharging your shields is expensive in capacitor. So shields, you have higher resistances normally, and you also have a higher capacitor need. In armor, you have a higher life total normally, but you have a slower repair time than say a shield module. Normally, an armor module takes twice as long to cycle as a shield module. It changes dependent on the type of module it is, though. So again, you have your shields, which have active or passive. You have your armor, which is either active or a life tank, or you have your speed tank, which is purely just a speed tank. Actually, let's give you a better one right there, which is purely just a speed tank, and it's made to go fast, and if it say is tackled, then the speed tank is nullified and they're just a really squishy target. So anyways, that's tanking ideas in general. I'll go further into shields, armor, and speed tanking later on, dependent on what ships or races you're looking at. I'll do a couple videos on all of this for specific races, like AMR for armor tanking and or passive shield tanking. It's certain things work better with certain ships. Most people wouldn't say, oh, I'm going to passive shield tank an AMR ship, because you normally want to armor tank them, but it can be done. So again, we'll go over that later. I'll do a video for all the races, and again, please thumbs up if you like it, and comments, you know where they go. Alright, have a great one.